Hello everyone, Naodline here today, and we're not playing a game today. Instead, we are watching a cast, well, a replay really, and I'm going to be casting it. So we've got an Asia Ring game today with Misty Mountains and Rohan. Rohan is being played by Silver, and the Misty Mountains being played by sorry, I'm forgetting your name, Zero. Now, I've played against Zero myself, and I must say, he is a really good player. He's really opened my eyes a bit to how you play PvP. And as you can see, starts out quite simple, going for farm, 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 and farm everywhere. And that's basically how it starts off. Zero starts with the Mountain Orc hut, so instead of going for goblins to start with, he's going for a more elite approach, which isn't a bad idea, but it could also lead to some mistakes happening in the beginning if those units are to be killed off. But as you see, Silver over here is building a windmill, and looks like he's using it to spam out peasants. Yep, and he's built another farm out here. So a strategy I've been using recently is to go for a triple farm in a triangle. Now, you may think that's a strange thing to go for, and then with a barracks, but that is basically how you play. And you can see both Zero and Silver have gone for that strategy. Silver is now going for a second windmill, so he's going to use the windmills as peasant spamming units, structures, because windmills also reduce the cost of all infantry, so the more of them he has, these peasants are going to get even stronger, because they'll be even cheaper. And let's see what we have for powers. So Zero had not gone for a power yet, and he's gone for some Mountain Orc brutes. Looks like he wanted to go and take out that Wagler. And then we have Silver over here with some peasants. Now the peasants may not look like much to start with, but yeah, don't underestimate peasants. If they get if you use the draft power on them, they can become quite a dangerous threat, especially for little old pikemen over here. And you can see spamming out even more peasants. Now 8 resources less because of the second windmill. And he hasn't built any other buildings yet. No, wait, no. He's built a 4th farm back here and 2 windmills. That's all he's managed to build. So let's actually check his economy. Yeah, his economy is being pretty tanked because he is spamming peasants. But that is actually a viable strategy, because now those peasants can walk around the around Zero's base and destroy any outlying caves, like this one over here. And yep, there's some more peasants, and he's building another windmill. He's going for a full peasant spam. Now, I've never tried to use peasant spam in my times of playing Rohan. I always go straight for yeoman archers and the yeoman spearmen. But going for this kind of approach might not be a bad idea. It gives Rohan a very flexible early game. But yep, Silver very quickly intercepted over here by the goblins. Goblins are a lot faster than poor little peasants, but even on defensive mode, these peasants are cutting down these mountain orcs. And so yeah, say that's 150, and the mountain orcs are 250. That is a nice bit of damage right there. Now we've also got some Moria Screechers, the good old Gobbos, and as you can see, Zero's now going for a second Goblin Cave. Best thing to do with Goblin Caves is get as many as possible, because you get all your units from tier 1, you don't need to ever level them up. The extra recruit speed is not worth wasting time on that. It looks like Zero's been forced to fall back a bit, but he has, as you can see here, sending some brutes and goblins over to Silver's base to clean out some of the farms. Because as viable a strategy as Turtling can be against a Death March AI, it is not at all viable in a PvP situation. You need to be constantly attacking, because that's how you get power points. As you can see here, look how quickly these power points are going up just from destroying this one farm. While this, the Mountain Orc Lodge here is falling, Silver's getting a good few power points from here as well. It's best to focus down resource buildings to begin with, because these barrackses all have these little goblins or orcs protecting them. Which is also why these windmills, if Silver was in a defensive situation, he'd be in a very bad spot, but he's actually done fine. And And he has already taken out this forward goblin lair. It's unfortunate for Zero, but nothing could be helped about it. He has gone for Fell Wind, so if the peasant spam starts to get a bit out of hand, he can just push them into one location, and then with a good bit of surrounding, he can get some good damage out in there. And yep, Zero is still managing to micro perfectly. I'm not yet quite at that level, but he's managing to micro his goblins around into the farms, while also keeping up a sizable army, which he is constantly spamming screechers. He has got more slashes on the way. But yeah, I think this might be the end of those of Zero's invasion when he hits the yeoman archers, which, as you can see, Silver has built over here. He hasn't gone any further down, whereas Zero has built a forward mine shaft there, and no, that's it. But he still has built that forward mine shaft, making it very useful. Oh, and as you can see, he's finally picked up draft. So now all peasants can get a massive increase in power. I'm not sure if it actually says how much of an increase they get. No, it just says become fully armed. I'm assuming it's probably about a 50% increase in attack and armor, because they're actually getting sword and shield. Yeah, here we go. They've now been drafted. They are now fully operational. Peasants with drafted are always a nasty thing to face. And there's also the horde bonus, because there's enough of them. As you can see that orange aura, or yellow aura, they're getting some extra damage there. But Zero's brought out Muzgash, the MVP of the Misty Mountains, and for every peasant he kills, he's gaining free resources, which is going to help with the goblin spam. He's built a third goblin lair to replace the one he lost. Go back over to Zero. He did go for Frozen Land, so that's a good escape mechanism if necessary. But also, while on the Frozen Land, he gains extra damage and armor, which is really good. The extra experience isn't as valuable to some factions. I'd say Misty Mountains is probably one of those factions for the goblins. The Mountain Orcs probably good, but it's not essential. And yep, that mine there is producing an extra 20 resources per tick. And he's going to, I'm fairly certain he uses this constantly, evacuating some Mountain Orcs to just move out sneakily over to the side. Unfortunately, Zero does look like he's in a defensive situation, but he's actually the one being the aggressor, having those slashers constantly going in, cleaning out any farms, and constantly forcing Silver to rebuild them. Which you may think, okay, so does that mean Zero's winning? Does that mean Silver's winning? Currently, yep, as you see here, we've got some more Mountain Orc slashers coming out to invade the Rohan base. And that's going to, again, build up more power points. Killing this entire army is not easy, and it costs a lot of resources to repair the army, which is why he's going for goblins, because they're all nice and cheap. While his expensive units are able to go out and hit the enemy base where it matters. And look at that, perfect clump. If Muzgash can go in there and attack with his AoE damage, that is going to be a... Yeah, look at that, 4 kills per swing. And currently with no hero on Silver's side, it's going to be difficult to counter that Muzgash. He can easily just walk in and out as he pleases. And as you see, as I said, those slashes are now tearing down the resource buildings of Silver, forcing him to either retreat to deal with the problem. Because if we look currently, his command point cap is... Oh no, it's only halfway. But it did lose half his army. It must have been... oh, here we go. We've got some cap to do with that. Now you may be wondering, why is this stables all the way up here? What value is this going to do? Well, it's because all the Rohan buildings steal resources from the area around them and actually can produce resources. So he's getting an extra 5 resources a tick for having the stables up here. A viable strategy, but you'll soon see it can actually go all wrong. Oh, we've gone to see that They Are Coming has been purchased. A very valuable power when you need to just spam a bit more. Yeah, as you can see, as you can hear as well, the drums of the deep. Goblins are spamming out faster than you can see them. And yet the Horde bonus gives them all extra damage when 150 of them are nearby. And that's 20 per stack. So just having 7 stacks and half a stack, and then all those goblins are getting extra damage. And he's going to send half of them up to the north to try and deal with that stables, I believe. Yep, half those goblins are going to wreak havoc upstairs. While... Oh, that's a lot of peasants that just got drafted. Those peasants are about on par with the Mountain Orc slashers now, if not even better. And he's got aggressive stance for his archers, because that means they're doing more damage. And his peasants he's keeping on... he's keeping them on battle stance, so they can do a bit, so they can guarantee a kill on the Screechers. But yeah, as I mentioned, the expansionist playstyle of Zero, he has lost that mind now, but the expansionist playstyle he has been adopting means he can still come around here. All the wargs being a bit of a nuisance, trampling a good score of goblins. While the goblin army, it is very cheap, is very expendable, but it also will lose 99% of the time. And if you... Oh, he's also got Urshak. Yeah, but yeah, if you want to protect your heroes, you do need a strong army. But it seems like Zero is making it work. He probably just paid for Urshak. I personally struggle to find the value in Urshak, but I think you'll soon see how good he can be. Oh, that one unit of Gondor Cav trampling all those goblins up there. But will that be enough to save the stables? I don't think it will. So for a combination of about 6 units of goblins, maybe even 7, all worth 65, managed to destroy a stables worth about 600. So that is a valuable trade. And again, you lose a goblin lair, it doesn't really matter because the units you can get from there are super cheap and the building is only 350. So he's probably made more money than he has lost in this. And you can see everything is an aggressive stance. He wants to be dealing as much damage as possible to those peasants. He wants to make sure that every 1 or 2 attacks can kill a peasant. Oh, we've got Golfinball. That's what you were saving for. Now you've got to be careful because I did spot with my little eye a Yeoman Spearman unit. Don't want to push into them with a mounted unit or even a hero because they will very quickly die. And Golfinball is actually a really strong hero for the Misty Mountains. Let him go out and wreak havoc. Let him get to his level 4, or even level 3 even, where you can summon 10 white wolves. And then they're all going to get extra damage and speed. They could pretty much, all 10 of those wolves combined with Golfinball can kill nearly any hero, regardless of level. So having Golfinball just getting to that level 3 so he can be really tanky and damage dealing is really important. Okay, Zero's coming back to filling up his army. He's sending Golfinball out to gain those power points he most desperately needs. He's almost hit 15. And this is where the strategy starts to fall in place. Because back here, he's just recently built this troll lair. He's not going to get cave trolls. Nope, he's going straight for the level up and straight for snow trolls. Now, I didn't think this was a thing with the Misty Mountains. I always disregarded half the units from here. I always focused straight on the cave trolls for early game harass, or the Gundabad stone troll for late game just tanking and damage dealing. But the snow trolls are actually perhaps one of the most broken things of the Misty Mountains if used efficiently. I'm going to show you, and that will be shown soon enough. So, yep. All those extra resources thanks to Musgash. He's now level 7, so he does have Iron Discipline. Urshak should also be in here somewhere. Yes, still no Rohan heroes from the side of Silver. I think without any... from the constant harass that Zero's been dealing him, he's not had the time to get a good hero. I would recommend trying to get Eomer. I think Eomer is probably one of the best heroes of Rohan. Maybe even Elfhelm. Because he can sit back and he's on a horse, so a horse archer is really a really interesting choice for a hero. But it does work. Just having heroes that have mounts that can harass is a good thing. Yeah, oh, he's leveling up the archery range to either get Halithrun Wardens and or the fire arrows, and he's gone straight to the stables, which I didn't know, but also just grants modifiers for cavalry. Grants additional armor to all cavalry units on the map. I did not know this existed. So if you built 8 stables, you would get 40% armor increase. That is insane. That's the base for Glorious Charge, I think. Or the winter coat on those wargs gives them extra resistance to arrows, making them perfect archer killers. And look at this, all goblins. And yep, the snow trolls right there. He's got a plan for them though. Don't worry, they're not going to be used as they normally would. They're going to go into the mine shaft. And this is what I think is a bit busted about them. The fact that trolls can enter mine shafts. Because you can see here, he's got the summon werewolf ability. What could that possibly be for? Because I mean, the worm is just, you know, a worm that goes around and burns everything. Well, in Age of the Ring, the werewolf doesn't just act as a fire-breathing cloud of evil. It is far stronger than that. It also makes a hole in the ground which can be used as access to the tunnel network. Oh, just saw Zero was harassing again with some more gobbos. Always pushing in again. Silver's pushing in again, but Zero was ready and got those wargs up and operational. Oh, Golfing Ball leading from the front. I think he wanted to throw down the White Wolves, but I think he noticed that there were spearmen there, and if he waited a second longer, he could have lost Golfing Ball. And there we go, they're the White Wolves. They're very little spearmen in there, so those wolves are going to trample and trample and trample all day. Now, little to Silver's knowledge, this is all part of Zero's plan. Because you can see here, Urshak is now just leaving the battlefield. He's just taking a beeline straight for a mine shaft. Now, you may think, okay, so he's got a few snow trolls. He's got Urshak. What can that do? If you also add that up with the worm. Well, you're about to find out. I'm just going to keep pointing to where it's going to be for when it does happen. So if we look over to Silver's side, he did beeline for the Battle for Harvest. That is a good choice. Having that extra economy will really help get those heroes. Although again, still not going for any heroes. He's just been peasant spamming and going for the wardens. It is a viable strategy to try this, but yeah, Rohan's late game can be really, really strong if he gets the heroes, which I can't show if he actually has any or not. But from looking here, I see no shining green dots like we do over here with Muzgash and Golfing Ball. So now we've got the full 4 snow trolls, Urshak, and he's summoned the spot. He's got the cave bats. He throws down the wereworm right in front of the enemy fortress, and then just like that, evacuates all the snow trolls. And the reason he put Urshak in there is because of the cave-in ability. Target building takes heavy damage and is temporarily disabled. And look at those snow trolls just obliterate that base. Silver was unfortunately a bit too late to recognise that his base was already in tatters. And already Zero is back up to 15 power points, so he could get another power like the White Winter, or even get the Watcher in the Water just to float some all of Silver's unfortunate forces. But yeah, up against spears, the snow trolls don't stand much of a chance, but give them enough space and they will very quickly kill everything. And yep, Zero has wasted no time going straight through those windmills. No point in actually fighting them off, because even though they are producing units, they are not so much of a threat, and it's better to just try and focus on destroying the base. And look at that. Now all that needs to be done is destroy the archery range, the barracks, and the stables. With no fortress, unfortunately, he's lost all his powers, poor Silver. So he's no longer getting the Battle for Harvest passive on his base. And Zero, honestly, that this strategy is something I did not know that the Misty Mountains could actually do. I didn't realise how strong the snow trolls were at dealing siege damage. I thought they were just like a misplaced elite cavalry unit, but honestly they're so much more than that. And yet this wereworm tunnel, you could not do this kind of thing in vanilla. I mean, you kind of could with with proper placement of I'm trying to remember the dwarves because they're undermine. But dwarves were nowhere near be able to abuse the undermine tunnel as much as the wereworm tunnel has been with Zero. And yep, those windmills are all going down. And looks like it is good game. And Zero's even saved up for the 25 power so he can summon the big old Durin's Bane Balrog himself. Just to help push the point that there is no victory. Throwing it right at the back of the base. And yep, that is GG. Zero's army did get destroyed, but the amount of resources he accumulated from all those destroying all those buildings with Muzgash. Muzgash still in the front line, by the way. Just cleaving heads. And yep, Balrog's over here now. Just to get rid of that stables. Poor little stables. And yep, now down goes the barracks. Look how quickly those snow trolls obliterated that barracks. Oh, the Misty Mountains are really good. They are a really strong faction if utilised properly. The best, I think the best strategy for Misty Mountains is to defeat your enemy before they can hit their late game. Because as strong as a late game the Misty Mountains can have with the Balrog and going all Mountain Orcs, it is definitely not as strong as some other factions. And that was GG. Well played, Silver and Zero. Thank you for letting me cast this replay. And hope everyone has all enjoyed. We'll be doing more replays for the rest of this week. I did have other plans, but just had to sort some stuff out. It's taken a lot longer than I first thought. So, going to take a little rain check on what I wanted to do. I'm going to do some more casts instead. So, hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time, my friends. Farewell.